What is up? THiNK International, THiNK Media TV. I am here with Paul Churchward. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Paul is the video content producer at C3 Church, San Diego. And how long you been doing that for?
About 3 years now. But it's like everything. I handle marketing, media, design, so kind of the whole gamut.
Okay. Okay, and how long have you been just doing media in general?
3 years. I kind of just picked it up.
Dude, you're lying.
No.
Because your stuff is way better than 3 years.
No, yeah, Jurgen wanted video announcements, because I moved here like 3 years ago from East Coast, and he's like, we want a video announcement, so I just kind of learned it.
Wow. And so, you know, we're gonna talk about video announcements in this episode. We're gonna talk about some tips and tricks, but you definitely gotta check them out. You guys are on YouTube? And you guys are on Vimeo?
Yeah, Vimeo mostly. That's
okay.
where yeah.
And so the reason we're sitting here is because your video announcements are just off the hook. And so we're going to ask you some questions about those. So in those 3 years then, how did you advance? I mean, how did you start learning this stuff and just getting it done?
We just got Final Cut. I think I had like an old school like iBook. We had iMovie, and I was like, look, we need to get a Mac Pro. We need to get Final Cut. So I'd never done it, but I just knew that that's the industry standard for the most part. So we got it and got like a big Mac Pro, and then I just kind of learned. I did like a week crash course at like UCSD, but just a lot of tutorials. Big thing, just Google everything.
Okay.
That's kind of the main thing. Just, and a lot of, obviously, trial and error, making stuff that sucks, and being like, okay, I need to do that different. So it's a lot of just continuing to improve on your skill level. So yeah, just resourcing, that's a big thing.
Cool. Now C3 dropped some of the best stuff. And what are some of the inspirations, places you're looking maybe to go, okay, that was cool, and then you start trying to do that in your own video announcements?
For me, I'm big on resources. So for a Vimeo account, I'll favorite lots of people. Like I'll see a video I like. So that's a lot of content, but it's like abduzidu.com is a good site. Yeah. And then looking at other churches, obviously Hillsong, Planet Shakers, stuff coming out like from up north. It's really just seeing what other people are doing, but a lot of it is still just looking at industry stuff, because church stuff is great, but you want to look above that, you know, still like look at movie trailers, like just taking ideas. It's a lot of just getting that creative spark, and then you take it from there. So
cool. And do you have any favorite movies or documentaries or music that kind of inspire you?
Man, not really. I mean, it's really just looking, because every single movie will have a different style to it and a different soundtrack, and for us at church it's not always like up and crazy, and sometimes you have the really intimate stories, so you want to really kind of look at everything, you know. You want to find that, you know, Sigur Rós song, or a Jonesy, or someone that's, you know, Bernard, just a band that's real chill, like, you know, Band of Horses sometimes, or, you know, finding upbeat stuff. So it's really just looking at finding really everything. Cool.
Okay, now what is the team and the workflow that when they watch these video announcements and they see that you do some After Effects stuff, you do just some different things, then you do some volunteer stuff, to get that all done in a week? What's the team? What's the workflow, start to finish? Kind of crash on it.
Honestly, it's mostly me. Like we're slowly building the volunteer team, but media guys, it's a bit tough to get, you know, to really get people that can stay committed. And I'm more like, I'll just get it done. So it's more building the team around me. But for the most part, we film our announcements once a month, and we film for the whole month. So I'll look to see what events we have. I'll put together the script. I'll organize with the, you know, announcement people. And I have some people that have been helping out, but honestly, it's mostly just myself 95% of the time. So yeah, so it's just getting the script together, then we'll organize a shoot. Usually it's on Sundays, just to cut down on time. So we're not like during the week trying to get people together, and then I have everything compiled during the week, and then I'll work on it usually Wednesday or Thursday, putting everything together. And yeah, it's mostly about the ease of workflow for me. It's like working smarter, not harder. So it's being able to, you know, if we're finding like a After Effects template, and I'm honestly just starting to learn After Effects. I'm mostly motion, but you know, it's just really just taking new stuff and implementing it, and yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah,
definitely. All right, so now you probably get this question all the time, but have you ever seen the show Man vs. Wild, or have you ever heard of it?
Yes, with Bear Grylls.
Yeah. Okay, now let's say we were to take, say, Pastor Jurgen, say versus John Bevere, who's coming to guest speak at your church here pretty soon. Who's going to last longer out in the wild?
Out in the wild? Well, Bevere's from Colorado, so
that's true.
That's a big plus, I would assume. He's got the mountains. He's probably he's got more stamina, I guess you can say. But Jürgen's feisty. I mean, he's German and he's good to go. So I don't know. I'd have to say Jürgen. I mean, I might be a little biased, but yeah.
All right, so we're going with Pastor Jürgen would last longer in the wild. Sorry, John. Okay, now really quick.
In like 2 weeks.
You mentioned Motion, Final Cut.
Yeah.
What are what is just kind of the rundown of the software you're using to get these announcements done, and what are like maybe the plugin sites you're getting templates off, or plugins, or just anything like that, like stock resources?
I mean, I mostly use Windows Movie Maker. Like, I don't if that's like my main.
Nice.
Not really. Yeah. Well, Final Cut, like I said before, that's what we got, and so I literally just learned Motion. I didn't. After Effects I'd heard of, and I was a big Mac guy, so I was just like, just learn Apple or Motion stuff. So learned that. I'm just starting to do more After Effects now, just because it's a lot more powerful, you know, like just the style and. Yeah, so, and then a little bit of Cinema 4D. I got a couple volunteers that have learned that, so I'm implementing that more. And, sorry, what was the?
Templates, stock resources?
Oh, yeah. So I use videohive.com or .net or whatever for a lot of this stuff, or some of the stuff. Like RevoStock is good. There's a lot of free sites out there. There's a guy from Mississippi that's like redferriswheel.com, and yeah, there's just, I can't remember off the top of my head anything really.
Okay, cool. 2 more questions. So, let's say someone's watching this, they're doing video in their local church, they're doing video for a ministry, they want to get started, they flip on your Vimeo channel, they watch a video, and then they just want to maybe even just kill themselves because they're like, okay, how am I going to do that? You know, how am I going to get to that level of excellence? I'm just editing in Windows Movie Maker, my stuff's horrible. Yeah. You know, how are you going to say, you know, move the ball down the field? What encouragement would you give to somebody out there?
Just go after it, really. I mean, a lot of it is you're not going to know until you kind of jump into it, and a lot of it is you gotta be willing to push through, like the videos that are going to be bad. And I watched a video from like TED.com or one of those about this guy who talks about just really how to get better, and he's just like, you gotta be willing to face up to the fact that you're going to make bad stuff, and that's going to make you better. And so, just try to get resources. Most small churches, like we started out small, and you're not going to have a extravagant budget. You're not going to be able to buy like a couple Red cameras and like a bunch of 5D Mark IIs or whatever. It's just, so find volunteers that might have it. With DSLRs now, you can. I mean, we just got a 60D because I'm starting to switch over, and they're like $1,000. So even find a volunteer that has a good camera, but just go after it. Like really focus on and a lot of it's just inspiration. That's really where I've gotten better. Is just like you were asking me before. Is just be willing to go and like scour the website for all sorts of content that can make you see like, oh, I didn't think of that way, or that's not something I would have naturally thought to design. It's just thinking outside the box. And that's where you get better, is by doing stuff that you're not normally going to do.
Sure. Okay, cool. Now, last thing, if people want to, again, see your stuff, they want to follow you on Twitter, where are you at? What are your places?
Personally? Or
you personally, and the church, but I mean, to see what you're doing, to stay connected to your releases, where's it all at?
Yeah. Well, just overall, for the church, it's c3sandiego.com. Vimeo, I think it's Vimeo.com/c3sandiego.com. But my personal is Pauly California for Twitter, and then I don't really have a personal video site. It's just all on for the church stuff. But yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty much it.
Well, thanks so much for this interview. THiNK Media TV, helping you move further, faster in media.